Hey, this is Ryan Prows, writer-director of Lowlife, and you're listening to Beyond the Void horror podcast, quite possibly the greatest podcast that's ever existed.
As you walk through the valley of the shadow of hell, you will realize that there is something ahead. Something that lurks behind the dark veil. A veil that is beyond our own comprehension. Beyond the void.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to
Beyond the Void
Horror Podcast.
All right, we're back for a brand new episode. We got some really awesome shit for you guys today. I think you're going to really enjoy this. We did an interview with Ryan Prows, the director of Lowlife, and it's a new movie that just came out on digital. You've probably heard me repeatedly say over and over and again to watch it online, so... but we got an interview with him. It was a lot of fun. We're also going to be doing a review of the movie from us and what we thought of it each individually. I'm going to, of course, let Brittany go first on that because...
Go me.
Yeah, I've talked my ass off about it during the interview and everything, but I got a few things extra. So, but how have you been?
Good.
Things good? Did you have a good week? I know we got to hang out a little bit this past week.
Yeah, we actually saw each other outside of the podcast.
Right, the day after we recorded the last week's episode. So, yeah.
That's right.
It was fun, though. I had a good time.
It was fun. We went to our friend's wedding, for any of you guys that don't know what we were talking about. But yeah. We went to a wedding of our two friends, very close friends.
Hurley and Fuchsia.
Yeah, and it was amazing. We had a really good time. It was a beautiful ceremony.
Oh, man.
And I got fucking super hammered.
Yeah, this was a very unconventional wedding, which is awesome. I like unconventional weddings because, like, I don't know, it felt like we were just going to the club again, like we used to, but we got to see, like, our good friends celebrate, like, something really awesome. And once we got there, it was like a family reunion.
Yeah, that's the crazy shit about it. Is like, I saw so many people I haven't seen in a couple years.
Right.
Or at least like 1 year or
so much has
like,
changed, you know?
Yeah, it was insane. I'm like, what the fuck?
You know what it reminded me of? Like, guys, for those of you who don't know, we used to go to this club called Transylvania. It's a goth industrial sort of alternative club that we've talked about a couple of times in the past. It's like a really decked out place, but it was every Friday night called Transylvania. And man, we used to fucking party there and drink and dance, and like there was a lot of memories there.
Yeah.
And that's why they wanted to get married in the same place, which they really don't even open up to our crowd anymore.
It's really rare.
And a lot of our friends, like, you know, we're doing our own things, you know, like sometimes we'll meet up at a club occasionally, but it'll just be like a spottiness of some of the same crew that we all knew back in the day. But this time it was like we were going to the old school Transylvania again with our friends who are getting married. They're both fucking kick ass. So it was cool, man.
It was awesome. I had a really good time.
Well, also, and I wanted to bring up some small news. Plus, we wanted to give you guys the conclusion to the sociopath question that we left you hanging with.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I'll re-explain that. Actually, we'll just do that now. We'll talk about the other thing.
When you mentioned sociopath for your note, I was like, what are you getting into? Like,
well, that's what I call you. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, well.
I'm just kidding.
It is true. I am one.
No, so, okay, guys, for those of you that didn't catch last week's episode, we were talking about, I don't even know how we got to the point of talking about it.
Do we ever? No?
Probably not. Oh, we were talking about, that's right, we were talking about how the guy from Altered States
is a sociopath.
Is kind of, like, carries a lot of traits of a sociopath, and so this was the love story of a sociopath in a way, and so we started talking about it, and then we said, oh, well, there's one of the questions, and there's hundreds, guys, that they used to do to see, like, how you react. And the question was, Jill has a sister named Jane who's getting married. Jane is getting married to Bob. So Jill goes to the wedding to see Jane and Bob, Jane her sister and Bob her new husband, getting married. She meets a guy at the wedding and she's like really into him and like everything's great. She forgets to get his phone number. So he kind of like, she doesn't know how to get a hold of him. So she kills her sister. And you were like, why?
Yeah.
Well,
why?
The technical, it's kind of like to test to see how you would logically put that together. So majority of people would be like, oh, why the fuck would she kill her sister? Like, that's totally irrational. Because we feel like, you know, our family is something close to us, so we would never kill our family or whatever, you know, rational, empathetic thought you would have in your mind. Someone that might be a sociopath would probably go, oh, well, yeah, so she could meet that guy at the funeral.
Oh my God.
Right?
That makes perfect sense.
I know, it makes sense.
I'd kill my sister too.
That's how she met Mouse. Anyway,
That's
guys.
how I met Mouse, actually. Funny story.
But anyway, guys, I might have screwed up the story now that I think of it, but, you know, I was doing it from memory, but that's basically it. Doesn't mean you're a sociopath if you knew the answer, guys. Yes, it just means, it just means that that's one of many questions that somebody asks. Someone could logically figure out why that is after some time or right away, but most people who have sociopathic tendencies, which they don't even use the terminology, like I said, anymore, they would just answer it right away because that's like the easiest answer to them.
That's the best answer.
Right, yeah, so.
Totally makes sense.
Also, I wanted to bring up one thing that I have been talking to a lot of people online in the horror community about is that we just heard from Bruce Campbell actually called it quits on playing the character Ash. Now, this isn't about me like being right. Like, it has nothing to do with that. It's more about like I knew this was coming.
Yeah.
Because the writing and everything and everybody that was involved in the production of Ash versus Evil Dead were all the people that would be involved in a future movie. Now that Ash has said, I'm hanging it up, you know, I'm hanging up my chainsaw, my fucking shotgun, I'm done. A lot of people are like, yeah, right, maybe he won't do it. Oh, well, maybe we could get... One of the answers that really upsets me is someone's like, well, who are we going to get to play next? Like so jovial and fun. I'm like, really? You're just going to, that's the next step. That's what you're going to do. We're having a funeral right now and you're talking about who you're going to get married to next.
Next.
You know what I mean? Like, fuck you, dude.
That's a sociopath.
Right. Yeah. See, that's a sociopathic question for
the definition.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying, though? Like,
guy.
I'm mourning the death of one of my favorite characters in horror. Yeah, he's a fucking slimy, fucking, you know, woman-hating, fucking misogynistic guy, but that's the character.
Right.
He shouldn't be a hero, and he is.
But he is. Yeah, hilarious.
Like, that's the best part about it. Anyway, so one of my buddies said, well, he could just be saying that. He said that in the past before. I'm like, yeah, but I don't think executives who have the money to make movies or TV shows or anything like that will want to put him in the role.
Yeah.
It's too much of a risk in their eyes. Now, if Netflix says, hey, let's do it, you know, let's put a 4th season out, see how it does. And if it goes well, we'll do more. And if it doesn't, then, you know, they're done. I've seen worse shows on fucking Netflix. No offense to anybody. But I've definitely seen worse shows. You know what I mean?
What shows are you talking about, Alex?
I'm not going to point that out. I'm going to shoot someone's baby in the face? Hell no.
It's fun, though. It's good times.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? I mean, do you think that he's coming back? I saw an article where they were comparing 3 different female representations of Ash and that's how they should do it moving forward.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Honestly, well, mainly because in the Evil Dead remake,
right,
it was a girl, and she was great.
Okay.
And I feel like she should pick up where it left off and continue on, because she was fantastic.
I thought she was good, yeah. I just don't think she was Ash.
Well, no, it's a girl, so she's not going to be Ash. Like, no one's ever going to be Ash. Like, let's let's like nix that right now.
I know,
nobody's
but, like,
ever going to be Ash.
Of course,
no
and that's
one.
why they went the female route, because not only does
Which was smart.
It is smart. I get it. I'm not against a female being in it. I just want Ash. You know what I mean?
I know you're not, because I'm within throwing distance of you, so you're not going to be like,
it's definitely not. I don't
her.
give a shit about that. Ow. No,
But
I
no,
just
like I feel like no one's ever gonna be Ash. So they made the right decision by doing what they did for the remake and making Ash a girl.
right.
Which was cool, and it was something that was
They didn't want to step on anybody's toes.
right, and it wasn't necessarily like predictable for them to do that. So
Right.
but it worked. And I was so apprehensive about seeing that movie. I didn't want to see it. I was so pissed about it. And then I saw it, and I was like, this was incredible. I went and saw it. I never go to the movies, and I went 3 times to see it in theaters.
Just tell me something, Brie. I need to know this about you.
What?
Do you prefer it over the original?
No.
Okay.
Who does?
We can be friends.
Who
I just
would?
wanted to make
Who in their right mind would? Like, Jesus.
No, there are people though.
Then those people should be taken out back and shot in the face.
I don't think a lot of people, because it's funny to me because I always see people who will shit on an original because they didn't grow up with it.
Yeah,
And
I
then
hate
they'll
that.
see the remake first, and then that's where you get all the people who are old blood horror fans who
Yeah.
get pissed about remakes.
Right.
Because those are the people that they like have nightmares about in their mind, you know.
I feel, and I could be wrong, but I feel like Mouse saw the remake before he saw the original.
No way.
I think I'm wrong.
No
I think I'm wrong.
way.
I think I'm wrong.
He's too well versed in horror to know.
It was one of them though. It was like some movie that he saw the original. Or no, wait, maybe I got it backwards. He had never seen the remake or something, and then I forced him to see it. I don't remember. I forget I said any of that. Anyways, but I don't know. I was super impressed with the remake for being as bitchy as I was
What'd
about
you think
it.
of the TV show though? Like,
I liked Ash vs. Evil Dead.
Yeah, I mean, the season 3, like, I'll be honest, guys, like, I don't think it's as good as season 2 was.
I'm not up to season 3 yet, though.
Yeah,
I'm way behind on the TV.
Really? Oh, yeah, you need to watch. Season 2 is perfect. Like, it is so good. Like,
Yeah,
to me,
season
it
2
really
was good.
is.
I liked it a lot. It was better than the first season. Like the first season was all right. It was okay, and then it was kind of meh, and then it got better, and then season 2 was pretty solid. So I was happy with it. And 3, I've heard really mixed reviews on, so
Right.
it makes me sad.
Yeah, it
that
sucks.
he's gonna hang up his chainsaw and his
shotgun.
boomstick.
Yeah, his
but
boomstick.
at the same time, I'm like, okay, when you realize that it's over,
They don't need to start
Let it
talking
be-
about
let it be
Evil
over.
Dead anything for a while.
no, let it go.
If this is done and nobody supported it, no offense to anybody, but this is why we can't be too particular. It's
Right.
okay to be picky,
Well-
but you can't be like over. You got to be thankful for what you get.
Exactly. I mean, we got 3 seasons. That's pretty cool.
Right.
So take it and run with it. I mean,
Yeah.
if that's what he wants to do, that's what he wants to do. It's sad because I mean, I was married at Evil Dead the musical, so
Right.
obviously I love Evil Dead, so and then everything about it, and I love Bruce Campbell, and I'm still sad he didn't come to my wedding, but
Yeah.
he was invited.
That would have been fucking amazing if he did,
I
right?
would have fucking jumped off the roof of the nearest like building, probably. Like that'd have been so cool. I'm like, you're here. I have to die now.
That's kind of dark, Brittany.
I have to go die.
I just got married. Woo!
And I'm dead. I would take Mouse with me. Don't you fret. He's going to.
He's like, no.
No. He'd somehow stay on the roof.
Yeah, I know.
As I'm falling, you piece of shit.
It's like everything's in slow-mo
I
as
want
you're
a
like
divorce.
flailing. All right, guys. Well, I think it's about that time, Brittany. HORRORSHOTS! All right, guys, so we're back to do our horror shots. Now, as some of you may or may not know, if you're new here, we do a horror-themed shot based off one of the movies that we watched this week. And usually we do 2 movies, unless it's a brand new movie, and then we kind of do a bigger piece. But since we're doing an interview with the director of Lowlife that you will be hearing after this, and then our own, opinions after the interview, we decided that we'd make a shot based on one of the characters in the movie Lowlife. So if you guys are listening who made the movie Lowlife, this one's going to be called El Monstruo. So what is in El Monstruo?
Murder.
I have to be careful not to go say the El Monstruo because it's like the monster? Yeah, it's like, Yeah, I have a speech impediment. Anyway.
It's all right. You're just a white person. This is what happens.
Delicious.
I'm so not excited.
One of the strongest themes of the movie is that, well, we'll explain that a little later, and you'll hear a lot of that in the interview. I don't want to spoil too much for you, and I think we did a pretty fairly decent job of keeping the spoilers to a minimum in the interview, so don't worry about that. But one of the characters in the movie is a luchador, and it goes by the name El Monstruo, and he has a lineage of basically like wrestling superheroes, essentially. That
it's in the family.
Yeah, it's in the family. Like El Monstruo had his father, who was El Monstruo, who was bigger than he was, and he's got a lot of making up to do, et cetera, et cetera. So we figured we would do a special shot. This one has 3 different types of tequila in it, which we got. Maybe I should go from the worst to best. What do you think?
I don't care how you do it.
Okay, so we got Sauza Tequila Gold. You're going to want to put 1/3 of a shot. Then you're also going to take 1/3 of a shot of Jose Cuervo. Oh, we also got a really nice one, nicer one.
We're on a budget.
Patron Silver.
I do like Patron Silver.
Right.
If I'm going to drink tequila, I usually drink
like this is the way to do it, right?
Patron type tequila. I don't drink gold tequila.
Wow.
Brown tequila. I like clear.
And then there's a kicker, so we got 3 ingredients.
I forgot about
And this is one of my favorite parts, actually. In order to make this even more legendary, like El Monstruo, we're going to put in some hot sauce on top of it, which is really good, actually. You're going to put do as much as you possibly can, because let's face it, guys, El Monstro's no pussy, okay?
I'm a pussy. I don't like hot sauce. What is that? Is that just Tabasco?
No, it's Tapatio.
Oh, then that's fine.
I wanted to
Tapatio's
get
not that
Cholula, but I didn't have it.
Cholula.
So there's a lot of hot stuff in here.
So in about 10 minutes, I'm going to fight Alex.
Yeah.
Because once the tequila settles in my belly, I get fighty as fuck.
So if you hear the fucking mic cut out, you'll know exactly why. Yeah. But to the legend of El Monstruo.
El Monstruo.
I did it in like a British accent right there.
You did.
You ready? Oh, she's prepping herself by drinking her whiskey.
Just leave me the fuck alone.
Okay.
Don't even judge me. I'm trying to not have tequila taste in my mouth.
I would sing the song, but there's no way I could fucking remember that. Cheers. Woo! That. It's niptastic, guys. Oh. Brittany's not having a good time over there, guys. You ready for the puke? You ready to puke?
Fucking A, no.
It's hot. It I didn't taste the Tapatio, but my chest is reaping the rewards of the hot sauce right now.
I'll probably be the only one on the show that never pukes.
I don't know. You'd be surprised, man.
Because I'm a man.
We did a fucking shot with mashed up Fruit Loops and shit in there, and it just hit the back of your throat just wrong, and whipping cream and weird shit like that. Anyway, guys,
I want to drink with Fruit Loops in it. Sounds delicious.
You heard us do the shot, but if for some reason you forget and you would like to check it out and do an El Monstruo yourself, all you have to do is go to longlivethevoid.com and check out our #HorrorShot section now.
I hate tequila.
But that's it for Horror Shots, guys. All right, guys, so as you already know, we're going to be skipping the news this week, but we will be bringing to you a interview with the director of Lowlife, Ryan Prows, and we're going to go ahead and do that right now. Hey guys, today we have a special guest with us. That is writer and director of the films Narcocorrido and recent film Lowlife. His name is Ryan Prows. Welcome to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast.
Hello.
And this is not the second time we've done this, by the way.
Come on, man.
I had to throw myself under the bus there.
Movie magic. You got to sell the sizzle or whatever that saying is. I don't even know.
You've done acting too, so you kind of know how to take it back, right? So
that's right. Yeah. Or I'm like total Fender status where I like make the actors do 800 takes for no reason.
Just to get the perfect one. Yeah, I read about
him.
I
guess. Yeah. At some point, I mean, come on. There's no way he's even looking through all those takes at some point.
So you just got back from promoting your newest film, Lowlife. How was the trip? How was everything? How was the reception?
It was incredible. We went to, we previewed in New York City, which I was saying is like super dope to me. It feels like, this is the type of movie that you want to play in New York in like a little gnarly theater. We didn't play in a gnarly theater, but in my mind, it was like Taxi Driver status, so that was really cool.
Yeah. The film was really raw. So it's.
Yeah. Yeah. We played in
sense.
like a super nice, tricked out theater, so like in the middle of the afternoon, so not quite what I was expecting, but it went well. We opened, myself and Shea Ogbonna, he's one of the writers, and he plays Keith in the movie. We're both from Atlanta, and we got a chance to open at the theater that I like grew up around the corner from in Atlanta, so that was like a huge trip. It was really cool. My mom came out for that, and it was like big emotional time there. All the friends and family kind of coming out for it. So it was really dope.
Right. And I was saying to you, super, super intense when you get to play in your hometown, because it's like all the chips, you're putting all your chips on it. And these are the people that know you the best. So it's like you really want to make an impact. Yeah,
definitely. No, it was funny because it was like luckily I played like in a bunch of festivals kind of the year leading up to that. So that was really cool to go on like a festival tour and all that. But yeah, it did feel like really different where I was just like all of a sudden insanely nervous, and just like, oh, are they going to like this? They don't like this. But it was really cool. And everybody, I mean, they told me they liked it. So I'm just going to take it at value of they loved it and not that they were just my friends and family being nice.
It's hard to get the real thing, but I bet you they really did like it.
They liked it.
Yeah. Well,
they would tell me.
Yeah. See, I always had that problem when I write music is it's like, I'm like, what do you think? Oh, it's music.
Yeah.
Like,
thank you.
Thanks. I appreciate it. You had mentioned that you were actually you went to the Conservatory of the American Film Institute.
Yep.
And you moved out there from Atlanta to Los Angeles to do that.
Yeah.
Was some of the inspiration on that?
It was really cool. We, a bunch of the crew from Lowlife, we all met at school together. There were 5 writers total on the film, and we all met and were working at school. And then out of school, we started like a little comedy collective where we were doing sketch comedy stuff online and did like a web series and that kind of stuff. My cinematographer, editor, production designer, our producers, like just all of like the department heads, we all went to school together and worked on projects together in school. So it was like pretty incredible that we all met same year and then, came out and liked each other from that. And then we're still, working together and made a movie and still like each other. It's been pretty insane.
That is pretty amazing. So you met a really good group of friends out there that are going to be working with you probably all the way into the future.
Paid graduate prices to meet a lot of friends, but
right.
It worked out for me.
That's the best part of school, of any art program, is meeting the people who are going to be working with you in that industry. So
definitely.
But did you actually participate in anything before you going to the Institute?
Yeah, I worked in Atlanta. We worked on a bunch of shorts and crewed for like indie films and stuff like that. And yeah, I was saying like, unfortunately, like I totally missed the boat where unfortunately for me, not for the city of Atlanta, like they've blown up with production. So that's really cool. But yeah, I kind of like, I was like, where was all this when I was there? And I was like scrapping and saving and trying to do anything. And now they're like every day working on like a Marvel movie and then making their own stuff, hopefully. So.
Hey, but you're getting to live your actual dream, your creative dream. So
that's right.
So they are really working on big projects like that from that crew.
Oh, no. Just that Atlanta. They're shooting a bunch of stuff in Atlanta now.
Oh, I gotcha. It obviously, this movie is the newest movie that you did, and the one before it have like a kind of a crime genre sort of in it, but it also has a lot of comedic beats and things like that. I mean, which genre would you say really speaks to you the most, and why is that?
Yeah, I mean, I really do like crime stuff, and specifically that was the initial pitch to all the writers was, let's do a crime anthology film. And it was just kind of born out of necessity of like, okay, we all were writing scripts separately, and we always kind of jokingly refer to it as like the Wu-Tang model. Like, we were writing stuff on our own, and then we were writing stuff together. And, I pitched like, let's just do an anthology that, like, if we have to, we can shoot it in segments, shoot pieces of it on nights and weekends, and do little short films, and then kind of collapse it all together. Genre-wise, like, crime stuff's always kind of been my favorite. And then definitely, I don't know really what to categorize. This has always been the problem, is like, because there are tinges of horror in it, and I do like horror stuff as well. When it's kind of, to me, it's like anything that you can kind of like dig in and to some kind of like social, political, topical sort of stuff, and then still make it entertaining and make it on surface. It's like, it's fun to watch and everything. That's always kind of been the goal. So, I mean, I always like those kind of films,
nice.
Like, whether it be sort of
just genre in general, like,
yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, sci-fi stuff or anything, but it's like, Robocop's one of my favorite movies.
Right.
That's science fiction, but it's also, there's some horrific shit in there too, so it's like, I love kind of mixing all that together, and just using genre to kind of, to speak to something bigger, I think is really the goal.
Yeah, did you ever see the RoboCop anthology where it's like all these different... God. That's so amazing.
That one where they're
shooting the dicks.
Dicks. Oh, that is the best. I like think about that all the time. Like, that'll just pop in my head and I'll just start laughing and I look like a maniac, but I'm just like, man, that's so perfectly done. Like, it's so good.
There are other good ones, but that one just sticks out like a dick in the bunch,
Yeah, man, it's so good. And like, it's so well built, and like, I mean, it is like a joke. It's so well like conceived and designed, but then also really fucking terrible. And like, you're just wincing the whole time you're watching it. Nah, I love that shit. Yeah. Who is that? That's like Fatal Farm or something did that? Like,
I think you're right. Yeah, it was a couple years ago. I can't remember how long ago. It might have been 3 years ago.
What did they ever do anything? The Fatal Farm?
I haven't.
Weren't they doing like TV or commercials or something like that?
They might have split up and done some other stuff, but I haven't really followed it since then, to be quite honest with you. But I need to look it up and check now.
Yeah, goddamn. I mean, the fact that you and I both were immediately going to go to the RoboCop dick shooting one is like, that tells you something. They're working with some good stuff there.
Right, yeah.
Oh, it looks like they did a bunch of Key and Peele stuff too.
Are they Canadian? Because it seems like those guys are doing a lot of that fun stuff, huh?
Yeah.
But, well, let me ask you this, actually. I know that your first film, Narcocorrido, which I am butchering probably.
Corrido. It's hard to say.
I'm doing it like
Arizona. What is happening here?
and Spanish is my second language, sort of, I guess. But you did this film. It's a short, and you actually won an award for it from the Institute. Can you tell us a little about? Or you didn't?
Won a Student Academy Award.
Ah, okay. Because it was
separate but equal.
Separate. Okay, gotcha. So, how can you tell us a little about what that film was about and why you got picked?
It's a really cool like subgenre of music. Corridos are like Mexican folk ballads. Like, so they'd be like, back in the day, they kind of talk about like Pancho Villa and like bandits and that kind of stuff. And then it turned into, now they do these narcocorridos, which are about like all the, cartel stuff and drug wars and everything. And they're really big here in the States, actually, more so even than Mexico, I think. And where it's like LA, they have a big base here with like a ton of like bands and stuff are record here, I think. And then all across the Southwest. But these singers will, and this is actually, I'm actually making I'm writing a feature version now that I want to make of Narco. And it just kind of follows one of the singers where they get hired by cartel guys to kind of like sing their glory, sing ballads of their tales or whatever. And then the singers will get killed by rival cartel guys as like a kill the messenger kind of thing. So It's a really, and it's like, it's like traditional, like the polka sort of tinged. It's got like, accordions and tubas and all that stuff. So it sounds like really traditional stuff, but they're singing about like just the most heinous shit you've ever heard in your life. It's really wild.
Yeah, that's pretty insane to think about that, because it does sound kind of happy and jovial, and like when you think about all these stories behind it, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So, I mean, and then the short itself was like, it was basically like you're watching one of these songs sort of unfold. So it was like it's a traffic stop, and it's Nikki Michaud, who's in Lowlife as well. It's the first thing we worked on together. She plays a cop that's pulling a truck over, and you kind of just follow that. You all go down. I'm sure you can imagine it's not the happiest of endings. So.
Compared to Lowlife, yeah, probably not. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually one of the things I wanted to ask you, because I went to look for it and I didn't find it readily available. Is there a place that we can
It's online.
Is it? Is it on like Vimeo or something? Or
yeah, I think it is.
Okay, I definitely want to check it out. Now, you worked with Nikki, which I thought she was fantastic in
she's
the
incredible.
New movie. Yeah,
she's
really
great.
She made me tear up at the end.
Oh,
like,
awesome.
You know what I mean? Like
she makes me tear up, and I wrote that shit.
She's really good. I was really impressed. I mean, everybody in the movie was great, but you seem to have like a good working relationship specifically with her, maybe. I mean, and everybody, obviously, but she returned in Lowlife, and there had to have been a reason. How did you guys meet, and how did that all come about?
Yeah, actually through school, one of my instructors there, he's a working, really dope TV director. I mean, he directs other stuff, but mainly TV stuff. And he sort of just he sent the script to her and was like, yo, you should do this. And she was kind of like, of course, like, I don't want to do a student short film. What are you talking about? Whatever. And he kind of talked her into it, and we met and hit it off. And, I mean, with Lowlife specifically, we wrote her part first, and we kind of wrote everything around her. Like the whole thing was sort of designed around, like, I knew, Nikki would kill it, would just crush it if she was in the film. And it was like writing something that I felt like, I hadn't seen her do, but also, so it would be enticing to her, but also be something kind of fun and different. And luckily, because I mean, the script, and she's kind of talked about this a bit too, which is so funny to me, like the other side of it, like, we had a working relationship, so she was down for the cause and down to do it. But it was also like, I can't imagine getting that script and then reading through it for the first time and being like, okay, wait, now what are we doing here? What's this? So it's definitely a testament to her. Yeah, it's a testament to her that she was like, willing to take the plunge with us. But she's really, I don't know, she's just so, because you'll see even in the difference between her performance in Lowlife and when you watch Narcocorrido, like she plays a cop at Narco, and even just like her physical performance is so different, and so different from, like, she's a, definitely like a very commanding, big presence, like in person, and she plays that a lot more in Narco than, man, in Lowlife. It was watching someone literally transform in front of your eyes every day. It was crazy.
Yeah, and she said that of all the stuff that she's done, which she's got quite the profile. She mentioned that this movie in particular has the most buzz that she's ever experienced as an actress.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't know. It's so crazy to me that, like, because I mean, I don't know. Did you ever watch The Shield? That was the first thing I saw her in.
Yeah.
And she's so good in that. I remember, like, that was before I had met her or anything, and, like, made a note of her of, like, man, she's so believable in that role. She plays, like, an undercover cop who's, like, playing a prostitute or whatever, and, like, you just feel like you're terrified for her and everything, and she's so good in that. And and she's been in, like you said, a ton of stuff, and she's always kind of working. And she had a show for a while she was like a lead in. I never watched it, but that Lincoln Heights.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, it was kind of more of like a family, sort of thing or whatever. So it wasn't really my bag. But even with her always working, she's just, it's one of those actors that, like, the face, but you don't kind of know what she's done, because so it's almost kind of, I mean, it's her talent. It's almost a little bit of a detriment of her just falling into these roles that you're just like, oh, I believe that's a real person doing that and not an actor. And
right.
I have even kind of seen that on this, where with Lowlife, like when people see her, they almost, like in person, they almost kind of double take. They're like, wait, oh my God, are you the actor in that movie? It's just because she's so, she just becomes a different person. It's kind of spooky to see.
Yeah, she was kind of the glue that tied that whole thing, in my opinion. I mean, all the characters are really strong.
We definitely built it like around her. Like, I love the fact, and it's even, I mean, it's like we have super flashy characters, and it's like, you know, she's almost kind of playing the straight man to those, where she doesn't get to be like the craziest, flashiest character, but she to me is like definitely the heart of the movie. Like, you know, it is all kind of begin and end with her, literally, you know, and figuratively.
And she perfectly crashes the wave in the right way at the end too. Like it just wraps it up so nice right there.
No, it's incredible. We actually, it's funny, we didn't have that ending initially, like the ending with the two of them in the car.
Oh man,
it was just going to be something different. I can't even remember what it was now. It was just like, I think Kaylee leaves or something with Randy, but it was just not, it was like played more for laughs and kind of like and it was a little bit darker, you know, and it was really, as we were shooting the film, she was nudging me a little bit like earlier on, where she wasn't saying anything, but she was like, oh man, that ending, you know, just kind of like planting seeds or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I know, we're kind of figuring it out. And then, yeah, it was like once we, I don't know, as we were like getting into the shooting and it was getting so dark and how horrible like her story in particular goes, and you're just like, you know, can this get any worse? It was like, yo, we got to fix the ending. Like, we can't climb this low and not have some kind of like light at the end of the tunnel with this. It's too much. So,
and the movie does take you guys, for those of you who are listening right now, it takes you on a ride emotionally. Like, you won't be able to pinpoint necessarily the genre 100%. And since we're talking about it, why don't we go ahead and tell them what the movie is about?
Yeah, it's so it's like a multi-narrative crime story set in LA. Pregnant woman gets kidnapped. You're kind of following all sides of the kidnapping. El Monstruo, who is a luchador, if anyone knows what that is, like a Mexican wrestler, lucha libre, kind of the traditional, I mean, he's very much more in the traditional sense of like the 60s, 70s type of luchador, is the woman's husband who gets kidnapped. So he's looking for, kind of follow two bumbling idiots who, one of them are coming out of prison and he's got a swastika tattoo on his face, and his best friend's trying to figure out how to deal with that while they're in the middle of this kidnapping plot. And then Nikki's character, Crystal, she like runs this, like, she owns this like super rundown motel with her husband who's sick, who's got like kidney failure, and she kind of inadvertently kicks off the whole thing where they're the kidnapping plot to get a kidney for her husband who's sick. So, and then hilarity ensues, surprisingly, and laughs and tears and everything in between.
Yeah, it is a crazy genre. I consider it a genre bending kind of film. Because it really is, like, I knew going in that it was going to be a comedy. I could tell the humor from the trailer. And then I found out that there was like 5 people that wrote the script or the screenplay. And I was thinking to myself, like, how did that come about? I mean, I know you had said that you met all these people in school, and then I would think, though, creatively, like, you guys must have either been working perfectly or it would have been some creative tug and pull.
No, it was good. Like, I actually, it's interesting. Like, I mean, I've gotten a lot where people are like, oh man, how did the 5-guy thing work? I mean, we were all buddies, and we were all definitely like same or similar sensibilities. But you know, we treated it like more like a TV writer's room, where we like all broke story together and kind of came up with like the outline and everything. And then we went away, wrote separate pieces, each one of us, and then we came back and kind of worked on it together. But I think like the strength of it is like we were really just like workshopping it, and everybody had like an ownership on it, so that like, you know, like bullshit couldn't slide. I feel like a lot of times in scripts, I'm guilty of this too. I'll be working on my own stuff and I'll be like, oh, I'll get back to that later. I'll get back to this later, you know. And it's like, and you don't have one other person, you have 4 other people sitting there being like, well, yo, what's this? We need to fix this. Or, you know, they'll come up with an idea or whatever for it. And then the other cool thing was like, you know, I'm a writer on it. One of the actors was a writer on it. And then 2 of the producers were writers on it as well. So like you always have a writer on set that we're always engaged in it and kind of trying to figure it out as well. That way, especially for like an indie movie, like when problems would come up, you know, like budget stuff or whatever, we could always kind of write our way out of the corner, as opposed to like it just sucking.
5 heads are better than one kind of thing.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, and it was like, obviously, you know, let go of the ego, try to figure out like what's best. Like it really was like always like best idea wins. Like if you can't argue your way, I mean, we were always fighting. We were always like into it, you know, but it was like, if you can't, you know, kind of make your case for this, then it goes or it stays or whatever it is. You know?
That's cool that everybody kept their ego in check there, huh?
Yeah, as much as they could. I mean,
because they're all your babies, right? All your ideas are your babies. You birthed these things.
Of course. But it is just like, yeah, it's like getting good notes from anybody, even on your own stuff. It is always like, I think the best version of that is when someone asks a question that you can't answer, you know, and then that starts making you think like, okay, maybe that is a problem, or maybe I should fix this. And it wasn't so much that like someone would have, you know, here's what this needs to be, and someone would argue and be like, no, this needs to be this other thing. It would be more of like, okay, we're kind of, and even just within it being, we have these separate sections. So, you know, everybody kind of has a little bit of ownership of their section. And then as it sort of was unfolding where we were all working on it together, then that's when it starts loosening up and everybody's like, well, what about this? So you have different ideas for different stuff or whatever. And then it becomes, I don't know, something more, I think, than it would have been if it was just one of us writing it.
Now you said that everybody had their own sections. Like, was there a specific section that you did, or like a character? Because you have so many really interesting characters in this movie that they're so different from one another, and they're so strong. Like, and especially the actors definitely carried each of the characters really well. Was there? I mean, how did that work?
Yeah, we all kind of like, we all had separate. Like, I came up with the initial, like, sort of conceit of it being like, okay, you know, let's do an anthology thing that's like in LA, because again, just out of necessity of like, we're going to shoot LA, but let's do a crime thing. We all like crime stuff. And then everybody kind of brought either different characters or scenarios into it. Like, we had actually, the swastika face thing was like a sketch we had tried to shoot a while ago. That I had pitched a while ago, like just more of like, it was just going to be, you know, picking your friend up from prison who now has a swastika. It was like the beginning of it. He has a swastika tattoo on his face.
To survive.
Exactly. Yeah. Not for racist reasons,
yes.
Of course. And so stuff like that, like everyone brought like little either character sketches or like scenarios or kind of different little funny bits or whatever. And then, yeah, we just sort of started sketching it around that, and it being like the Nikki's story, the whole kidney thing, kidnapping, all that sort of stuff. We did a short film. That was one of the shorts that we did at AFI together with one of the writers that wrote on this. So it's that kind of stuff. It just, we sort of built it pretty organically, you know?
Nice. Well, yeah, it's like something that took some time, actually. And just like, you found the right home for it.
Yeah, exactly. And you just, you know, it's like, it really was like initially we thought we were going to just do like I said, like an anthology. And then as we were writing it, as we were kind of like brainstorming, we were like, oh man, this would be so cool if plots started sort of overlapping and characters started interacting and all that sort of thing. So then that became like really like the kind of working backwards and figuring out like how, you know, sort of reverse engineering how it would actually come together.
Yeah, and like I said, I mentioned before, like I watched the trailer and I was like, oh, that's so great. Like the whole swastika on the face thing really sold me on like the tone of the film. And when I first got thrown into that world, man, you guys kicked me right in the face. Like I was like, oh my God, is this even a comedy? Like what is going on?
Exactly.
It's some of the darkest material that I've seen in some comedies. And I mean, is there a reason for that shift? I mean, you guys just like sick and like, which is a good thing. I'm not saying it's bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, I mean, I was always interested to see how they were going to market it anyways, because I can never pitch it. I'm horrible at pitching it. And we were always just like, I don't know, it's got all this stuff in it. And I always pitched it as like, you know, to me, it was all the good things in life. It was like, there will be horrible shit butted up right next to the best things that's ever happened, you know, and everything in between. And really taking a character, and then in this instance, we have like, you know, 3 or 4 main characters. It's like taking them through the ringer in like true dramatic fashion, like as low as they can go, and then try to, you know, rise up and have some kind of redemption or whatever their arc needs. But yeah, I mean, the initial pitch when we were kind of talking about it, we were like, you know, it'd be really cool if it's like a true exploitation sort of thing where, you know, on the outset, like the surface level of it is like, you got a luchador, you got a swastika face dude, you got a woman with a shotgun, you know, how do all these things kind of fit together? And then, you know, hopefully it's like, it is surprising. I would be really into that if I was a viewer of like, it's like you get into it and then, oh man, there's actually a heart to this and there's more to this than it just being like trying to be shocking or whatever it's supposed to be. You know, it's being sold as. Like that was always kind of a cool idea, but I don't even know if that's what they were doing with it. So I have no clue. I mean, to me, it was just like, it was definitely always trying to balance the tones. And we always knew like each character, each section was going to kind of have its own tone. And, you know, there'd be definitely sort of drier, dark humor, or there'd be like really horrific moments or, you know, kind of everything in between. That was really the fun of it to me. It was like the movie isn't categorizable. As you watch it, you know, it's like it is supposed to kind of shock you and surprise you and you don't know really where you're going. And like you said, it's a ride until, you know, the very end, hopefully.
Yes. I mean, I like it's so weird. Like when I watched it, I was like on the edge of my seat the entire time. Like I really was like, I'm not just saying that. Like I laughed, I cried, I stood up and cheered, I reeled in horror sometimes. And one of the things that I kind of got like an overall, you know, like the lesson of the story is don't judge a book by its cover, or not everything can be easily put into categories. Is that kind of a theme?
Definitely. And I guess, I mean, that was definitely a theme we were talking about with the characters. So I guess that works for the movie too. I never really thought about that, but we were always like, you know, early on, every one of these characters has a mask or an appearance, or like they're easy to make kind of a quick judgment, or people make quick judgments of them all the time, or they have labels. I mean, we literally label each one of them, you know, per their section or whatever.
Right.
And then, and then it's digging into that. I was talking to somebody else about this, but every one of the characters, Nikki's character, Crystal, she'd be the like supporting character in somebody else's movie, you know, like she'd be there for a second, whatever you need to do for the plot shit, and then she'd peace out, you know, and it really was like from jump, like, okay, let's take marginalized people of color, specifically marginalized people, and then also these characters that like would always be sort of the supporting or fringe characters in somebody else's movie, and like this is their movie, we get to follow them and really see like, you know, what makes them tick as well. So that was always kind of the initial goal, and then it was like, how to kind of fit that into, because it really was like, let's talk about something, let's have something be there, like a deeper meaning to it, but also like not be preachy or soapboxing. Right. You know, you don't want it to just be like message, you know, kind of deal. So,
and to me, it's very raw in that sense, because it's like, I don't know, like that's how real world is. On like online, we live this weird life, right? Like everybody puts everybody into a box and they think it's this way, and it really isn't that way in life. So I don't know, maybe that's why it resonated with me so much, is that seeing all this ragtag, you know, motley crew, so to speak, you know, people like getting together in this whole story. So,
definitely.
But
they come together like just the gnarliest, like Legion of Substitute Heroes, fucking Avengers, Great Lakes Avengers style, like at the very end, which is pretty dope.
Yeah. The luchador, El Monstruo, is man, some of his parts were really great in that, and I love that you didn't go to the extent of actually showing it. Like your first instinct would be to show everything that happens in these periods. I don't want to spoil it for too many people, but I loved like when he woke up, then you realize like what happened,
right,
and then you got to piece it together in your mind. That was fantastic.
Yeah, and that's always it is like it's always exciting to me to like make the audience a participant in it, and you're kind of doing the math, you know, as the movie's going on, or like piecing it together. Like I always love that type of stuff myself, but then also just, of course, like budget wise, made a lot of sense.
I thought about that too, but either way, you made it work, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. Exactly. Hey, it can have two reasons. It's fine.
Yeah. That's definitely what I meant. No.
Yeah.
I know that you are big into the crime and obviously some comedy here. You and your friends have some pretty good jokes here. Do you think that you would ever consider doing like a horror film?
Yeah. I mean, I've like written a horror thing that's like, I don't know, forever tied up at a fucking studio. So who knows? But,
oh no, really?
Yeah, that happened. But
so you sold it and they bought it and now it's just sitting?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean,
I
like
about
stuff,
it.
but again, it is all like trying to come at it from some kind of like social angle or whatever. You know, it's just whatever you can kind of like talk, like use it to talk about something deeper.
Right. And that's pretty hot right now. So, I mean,
hell yeah. Yeah, we're working on a thing now. 4 of the writers, myself included, are working on a project. Like our next thing now that script's done, we're trying to get like casting and money for or whatever. So that's like the next big thing. And that is definitely, sort of the social horror type thing.
Right.
It fits in that world. It's going to be pretty gnarly.
But you can't say anything about it, right?
Not too much. No, not really.
Okay. Well, no worries.
Yeah. It's like a even more fucked up Attack the Block, I guess I could kind of in that vein. Or like Assault on Precinct 13 or something like that. It's like really, but super gnarly. I'm excited. One of my favorite things, this is kind of maybe talking out of school, but like at our premiere at Fantasia, which was an incredible festival in Montreal. Somebody from one of the horror magazines, like a pretty famous horror magazine, he fucking walked out because Lowlife was too bloody. So if he thought that was bad, man, get ready, motherfucker, for the next one.
Yeah, let's not say the name so that we both don't get into trouble for laughing.
Yeah,
no. Yeah, that's really bad. Really?
Yeah,
that is. But I mean, we're pretty saturated in the messed up stuff, so it's like
that's why I was like, okay, fuck. But no, I mean the new one is pretty. It's going to be wild. It's called Night Patrol. If and when we get it going, but it's going to be pretty fucking.
Wow, you better let me know because I'm all about that. Like, I noticed that you obviously are a fan of practical effects, and
definitely
horror obviously thrives. A lot of the really big classics thrive on practical effects. Now, did you have any kind of say in that when you were making the movie?
No, I mean, we had like a really dope team, Josh and Sierra Russell. They came on to do it, and then like really just like huge favor for us basically, because they were like busy, like I don't know, doing like a million TV shows and shit. But they're super awesome, and they're really smart about again like how to do it, on a budget and not let it suffer. I mean, I remember when we first met with them, and I came to them, and I was like, hey, okay, so we want to do like. A little bit of a spoiler, I don't know, but for the opening scene, like the autopsy stuff, we were like, I was like, I want to do a full autopsy. And they just looked at me like I was out of my mind. They were like, well, okay, what? But, then they just figured out a way to make it work. They're incredible.
Hey, by the way, my name's Ryan. I need to do an autopsy scene?
Yeah. Can you hook it up? They were like, what the? No, God, why? No.
No, they did a really good job, though. Like, I was impressed. They're incredible.
Yeah. And I mean, it is that like, I really lean into, I mean, practical effects. I always like that stuff. You can definitely tell. It's just anything like that is like, if you're going to put that much care into something, it's going to show no matter what it is, and I feel like you can always just feel that like the difference between, shooting a million takes and you just do digital blood or whatever. And you're just like, well, shit. No, yeah. That seems really easy,
Right. Yeah. No, and it's like, in a lot of the films, and I'm not saying that yours fits into some sort of particular box by any means, but some of the films that it reminds me of is like John dies at the end, or like, I don't know, just like these a little bit more independent style ideas that are huge, in my opinion, but they don't always go as far as like, you know what I mean? And you did in this film. Like you really I was like, holy shit, this is actually happening.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to say and spoil it for anybody, but Teddy has a scene that's pretty brutal.
If you can dream it, you can be it, I guess.
Dreams really do come true, horror fans.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing I love about, that's why, I mean, even like television stuff.
Nowadays,
like, yeah, they just do the craziest shit. So to me, it's like, why not go at least that far to where, like, if it supports the story, like why cut back on stuff like that? Like that's always exciting to me. Of like, if you can mix those things together, because again, like I said, like Robocop or something. I remember being a kid watching that and being like, "Is this a thing that happens? Like, what in the fuck?" And that butted up against a robot cop doing it. Like, right. I was just like, okay, man, this is incredible. Like,
I can't get the dicks blowing up in my head again.
Yeah, they've ruined it. They've ruined it. Fatal Farm.
It's too good. It's too good.
It's so good. I think part of it, again, talking about this specifically, the care taken in all of it, that you just know that it took them forever to shoot all that and set all that bullshit up and everything for a joke is like what makes that so fucking beautiful, you know?
It's so true. Well, I immediately after I was done watching the movie, I was like, all right, we're going to buy this on Blu-ray. And it's not out yet, but I know that IFC has distribution with it, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Okay.
For US.
Do you have a date on that, or is there...
I mean, it's out on VOD and everything now to rent.
Right.
And then, Blu-ray wise, it's through Shout Factory and or Scream Factory. I don't know which
nice.
label they do or whatever.
It'll probably be Scream, I would think.
Scream? Okay. It's whatever, like IFC Midnight has like the hookup with them. So, and that, I think it's supposed to be like summer.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So it's coming out pretty soon.
I've rented it twice now, so.
Oh, there we go. Thank you. You're doing the Lord's work.
And then hey man, if it's worth it to me, honestly, I didn't mind.
Thanks,
So
dude. Yeah, we're like stacking we're doing a bunch of the extras because I love Blu-rays and shit. That's like myself and one of the producers, like we just nerd out and all that. So we're like doing a bunch of extras ourselves for it. So like we're working on that now, actually.
Nice. Yeah. So summertime.
So it'll be fully loaded. It won't be like the bullshit empty, like direct to Walmart one or whatever.
The last question I'll ask you here is, first of all, you obviously have some crime favorite films. Are you fans of like John Woo? Are you like
no,
not at all?
Not. No, the thing was okay. So I'll get on my get back on my soapbox here. I made a movie where I'm just soapboxing the whole time.
This whole thing is your soapbox. What are you talking about?
Exactly, it's nothing but soapboxing. But no, I mean I can appreciate them, but John Woo movies specifically, like they kind of fucked me up with their gun violence and the violence in it and everything. It's like so cartoony and like sort of just like doesn't matter, like there's no weight to it. There's no like actual like, man, when you shoot someone with a gun, shit is horrible.
Gotcha.
Like,
I gotcha. I see what you mean.
It's really terrible. And yeah, just, I don't know. Like it always feels more of like a glorification of it than it being like, cause it's like cool. There's doves involved. There's fucking fire. Like there's two guns normally. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, I just always am like,
the action was good,
that's
but
the stuff that kind of
the deaths weren't as impactful, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Just like, it's a cartoon basically.
Just another one dead.
And it's making it look cool while you're doing it, which is the thing that like, and again, I can get on some, entertainment, whatever kind of stuff, but it always sort of leaves me cold. Like I'm always like, ugh, I feel bad when I'm watching one of those. But that one scene where they're in the one shot where they're like in the hallway in the hospital or whatever, fire. Okay.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I can't knock it. I'm just saying on the whole, I don't like what that shit represents.
I understand. No, I mean, that's actually a valid argument, to be honest with you. Like I never looked at it like from that lens that you have.
Yeah. I mean, I think about the violence because our movie is incredibly violent, and we talked about violent stuff a lot where people have been like, did you need to do XYZ or whatever? I mean, I feel like we needed to ground the world because it's so absurd anyways. And, to talk about like that there are consequences to action. There's a consequence to somebody shooting a gun, all that sort of stuff. I think we pretty responsibly deal with it, but also at the same time, it's like, I'm not going to be sitting here knocking John Woo. I mean, the dude is a beast. So you won't catch me on that one.
What films would you recommend if you had a few choices?
I mean, I like 70s crime movies are like totally my bag, just like on a crime movie nerd sort of tip. Killing of a Chinese Bookie, like when I was a kid, or not kid, like, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago when I first saw that in my 20s, that like made a huge impact on me because I always like movies that are genre, but they're not really about the genre that they're in. McCabe and Mrs. Miller, I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's like a Western.
No.
But it's not. It's like a anti-Western. It's not even about really a Western, but it's like the most Western movie ever as well. It's really dope. That's a dope-ass movie.
What is it called again?
McCabe and Mrs. Miller.
Okay, McCabe and Mrs. Miller. Okay.
Yeah, it's a Robert Altman movie from the 70s. It's beautiful. It's a really great movie. But yeah, Killing of Chinese Bookie, Friends of Eddie Coyle, newer stuff. I mean, I really like, I don't know if I guess it's kind of crime, but that like Nightcrawler. You see that? That was
yeah.
Incredible, man.
That is a really good movie.
Like, yeah, just the sort of the character piece of that whole thing. Taxi Driver, Fargo, No Country.
What about
all
Death
those kind of
Wish?
things. No, yeah, not really. No.
Some of the themes in there are kind of.
Did you see the new one?
No, I haven't. Worst time to come out, by the way, for the public.
No
I
shit.
think.
What are they doing?
Yeah, like wow, you really got fucked on that one, didn't you?
Yeah.
Hey, guns are cool.
Yeah.
Not a good movie right now, I guess.
Still straight up like black people in Chicago. He's like murdering too, right? Isn't that the
Right.
whole,
Well, yeah, a lot of people are saying that, but then they show the guy getting crushed under the car or whatever. So I don't know. Eli Roth, he's just a fan of a lot of that, old stuff. So
like the sleaze sort of stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm sure
I
it's
some of that
harmless,
stuff, too.
but
Heat is the jam.
mm-hmm.
Everyone loves Heat.
Yeah.
I went to school with Dante Spinotti, who is the DP. His son, who's incredible, Ricardo Spinotti. He's like an incredible director. He needs to get off his ass. He hasn't made anything yet, but he's so awesome. But got to meet a couple times Dante Spinotti, which was a trip. And like I kept trying to ask him like questions about Heat, and he was just like, I don't want to talk about that. So,
Really?
yeah, I was just like past the point. They, like him and his wife were just like, oh, it's fine, whatever.
What about a couple horror releases that you would suggest too?
Like recently?
It doesn't matter. Old, new, whatever first comes to your mind.
I went to school and am buddies with Ari Aster, who did Hereditary, and I've heard that's awesome. I haven't seen it yet, but I really want to see that.
That's one I think a lot of us are waiting for.
Yeah, man, that looks incredible. And he's actually, I don't know if it's online anymore or not, but you should search out his short film he made from school called Strange Things About the Johnsons. It's awesome. It's really fucked up, but it's awesome. But yeah, do yourself a favor, watch that. It's hysterical.
Yeah,
it'll get you ready for Hereditary. I've heard it's really fucked up.
Yeah, I kind of like to go on that ride sometimes with a lot of movies. I want to be impressed by something I haven't seen or feel emotions that I maybe never have felt. It's a safe atmosphere, I think, to be.
Yeah.
Anything else you would suggest?
Let's see. I'm just looking at my little library here. Under the Skin. I love that.
Under the Skin. Okay.
And Antichrist.
Antichrist.
Yeah. Oh, here's my one. My suggestion I give everybody. It's more crime, but it has kind of horror tinges to it. It's called I think it's just Revenge, but it's Revanche in German.
Is that the new one that just came out?
No, this came out like 2008 or 9, something like that.
Okay.
It's incredible. It's such a good movie.
And it's
came out one of my favorite movies.
2000 what?
2008 maybe. Revanche.
Like A or with the E with the
Revanche on the end. Yeah. Desperate attempt to improve life for his prostitute girlfriend. This dude basically like works the door in like in a brothel, and she wants to go, and he's got to like basically kidnap her to take her away or whatever, and then they have to like rob a bank to get some money to live, and then you sort of just follow I don't know, it's really good. You follow him.
You like the real raw stuff, I could tell.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Because Antichrist is not an average viewer experience.
Well, I mean, Gaspar Noé, I like those type of films, like Enter the Void or Irreversible or something.
Right.
I don't like them.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It won't be a movie that I like. I'm like, yo, I gotta. You know what I feel like watching right now is Irreversible.
Yeah,
but it'll be a thing where it's like. I think about those a lot.
I'm sure you get some heat for that, though, a little bit.
Yeah, really. But I think, those extreme cinema stuff, I guess, I'm, really into. And I would love to one day have the balls to be able to actually go that far with some stuff like that. But,
right.
Yeah, I don't know. That kind of stuff, to me, is pushing the envelope when it counts. Or when not for the sake of doing that, but trying to push the art forward and try to do something fucking wild,
So, are you a fan of Possessed then?
I do like Possessed.
I was gonna say it's kind of like one of those films, kind of a Lars von Trier sort of style.
No, and that's all those kind of I haven't seen that in forever, but growing up, you watch all those Don't Look Now or whatever, that kind of stuff, and those are really cool. Where it's just, and I like traditional narratives and all that sort of as well. I watch movies all the time, all day, every day. But yeah, it will be like every once in a while you need like a little palate cleanser with like, what the hell is that? Like that's always exciting.
Well, I think when you become a collector and you start watching different things and you try to go down the rabbit hole, you've seen so much that you just want to kind of push the envelope a little bit, and you really appreciate those people that are willing to do that. And I could tell,
just something different,
right? And I could tell by Lowlife that it's like it's not exactly 100% politically correct, even though it's not like offensive. Like I don't know how to explain it, but it's like you wanted to push the boundaries quite a bit with it, and I appreciate that. So I think that's it kind of makes sense with some of these picks. That's why I always ask people to get
definitely.
kind of an idea. So,
and then the movie I'm watching now for my next one that I watch all the time over and over again is Seven.
Seven, okay.
Yeah.
You didn't like the 8mm though, right?
No, hell no. Come on.
Yeah,
Seven's like
me either.
the best movie like made, like just production wise is so crazy. Like the thought behind all of it and how I don't know. It's so well done.
It really is. That is a great film. That's what inspired so many different other films.
Of course. And
after it,
I like 8mm.
I think Saw was inspired by it, right?
Of course, yeah.
Which now he has a gigantic career, James Wan.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, and but yeah.
I mean, I don't really like Saw or whatever, but that's awesome that they did that and like came up with something really smart and easy for not easy, but something that they could do and figure out how to get it made. I mean, it's incredible. And then they made like a whole franchise out of that. Like, hats off to him or those guys, because that's the whole thing. Is like there'll be movies. I was just talking to somebody about Tiny Furniture, where it's like I just finally saw that the other day. I'd never seen it before, and it was fine. Like what was it, Lena Dunham?
Oh yeah,
her film. It's fine, whatever. It's not like the best thing I've ever seen in my life, but like it's got cool stuff in it, cool ideas, whatever. But the main thing is, no matter what, she figured out how to make a movie. She put her like family in it, and they just shot it, and it's interesting, and it's something some kind of perspective that you hadn't seen. So yeah, that's the name of the game, is making something, figuring out how to do it.
Well, is there any advice you could give to somebody who's looking to try to make a movie of their own?
Yeah, I had probably the best leg up, I would say. Went to school, went to AFI, went to prestigious school, did really well there. Came out of there with my short film, won a Student Academy Award, all this shit. And then I was writing my own stuff, all this, whatever. And it felt like at the time, like I was on the track. I was like, oh, okay, I'm like getting all these meetings. I got an agent, blah, 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 all this bullshit. And like none of that happened. Nothing happened from there, like not that nothing happened. I mean, it was a good like life experience. I wrote, like I said, that one thing got shelved. So I got paid to write a script for a while. So that was good. But, the big lesson out of that for me was like, and why we went and finally just made Lowlife was there's nobody sitting there ever with a bag of money waiting for you to like come collect it to make the movie, And it's like, however you have to do it, whatever you have to do to make the movie, like it ain't going to get any easier. So you might as well just start figuring out how to do it. And it was like Lowlife, we specifically, we came at it from a sense of like, okay, we like these type of stories. We like crime films. We like that kind of stuff. And we have little characters and stuff like that or whatever. But it was like I said before, it was like, if we have to, we'll shoot short films and we'll make an anthology, And I know like with horror stuff, a lot of people do anthology horror films or whatever. That's awesome because they're actually going out and making something, or make a short that hopefully will lead to it. But don't do that. Don't make a short to lead to the feature. Just make the feature and figure out and write to it, because that's the one thing you have is like the creativity to figure out the problem, figure your way around whatever problem. So it was like, we initially we had this whole like big, long, crazy ass. We had a bigger finale, like a bigger set piece or whatever. Written because we thought we were going to be able to get this like desert compound that everything was going to like lead to, and it was ridiculous. And then we didn't get that, so then we rewrote it, and lost a character that was going to be that thing, and we kind of collapsed characters into Teddy. That was like there was a different guy who was doing the organ harvesting stuff, and then Teddy was like the pimp thing or whatever. But then when we collapsed it in there and made it tighter and better anyways, because it was like, oh my god, this is so gnarly that all these characters are like floating around this one dude who does all this really heinous shit, you know? So it's that kind of thing. It was just like,
so there was a lackey for the organ dealer, huh?
Yep. So it was like having like the ability and like being ready to just like, you know, like you said before, like these are your babies. It's like kill your darlings kind of thing. Whatever you have to do to make the movie, because the movie that you get made is worth 1,000,000 times more than like this perfect movie that's in your mind that no one else will see or give a shit about, you know?
So stick to your guns, do what you got to do.
Like whatever you have to do. Like there are millions of cases of people that just go and like, you know, like Christopher Nolan made Following, that movie where it's like he just shot it. He figured out, okay, this is how I can do it. I'll go and get film on those like reeling 8 or 60 millimeter cameras or whatever, like little wind up cameras. It's like I'll get a roll of film that's whatever 3 minutes long, 4 minutes long, and that'll be a take, and then that's what I'll shoot, and then I'll piece that together. You know, it's like, and then he wrote a story around that. So it's like figuring out what your limitations are, and then not like stopping with that, where it's like, well, this sucks. It's like, especially now, people are making shit on phones and shit. Like, it doesn't really matter as long as, you know, I feel like as long as you make it part of, I think I heard a while ago that was definitely like the best advice I heard, and what we always use for this was make the budget your aesthetic. So it's like we had no money, so we wanted to make a super gnarly, you know, low down, crazy ass street movie. And it's like, here we are, you know? So it's just figuring out how to your best use your resources.
And also, obviously, it seems like make good friends, you know, that are talented and pay attention to them and work together and learn to let your ego go.
Yeah, man. That's life, though.
Right?
Like,
yeah,
you don't play well with others, you're kind of in trouble anyways. I mean, especially making movies. Like, you're not writing a book, unfortunately. You can't just go sit in a fucking room and write a book by yourself, you know? It's like, this is...
And we're not George Lucas, and even George Lucas tried to rewrite his own shit, so...
Yeah. I mean, have you seen the prequels? You know, like he had everything. So,
it's like you're not the same George Lucas that wrote those George Lucas movies, by the way.
Yep.
Thank you so much for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. Like I wrote it out of like infatuation and fandom, like immediately. I was
awesome.
Literally
Thanks,
within 5 minutes of me watching the movie and pacing for a little bit of time, I wrote that to you, and you wrote me back. Like I think it was like within that night. So I was like super ecstatic about it. So really appreciate you taking the time to sit with us and talk to our fans and our friends. So thank you so much for coming by. Is there anywhere that you want to plug, by the way, or? Yeah,
I mean, just like the Lowlife account. I think people could usually like find out where stuff's at from there.
Yeah, guys, we'll put a Lowlife, the Twitter.
It's just Lowlife the movie. Yeah.
On so that you can follow it. You should definitely follow it. And if you haven't already, please watch the fucking film. It's fucking amazing, and you will appreciate it. If you like what I like, you're gonna like it. So just trust me on this. But thanks again, Ryan, and we'll talk to you soon, man.
All right, thanks, dude.
All right, guys, we're back from the interview. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I want to give a big thanks to Ryan for coming on this show. It was an extreme pleasure to have you on, man. Cool motherfucker. I swear to God, like, cool motherfucker. I look forward to what you got going on, man, and I bet you, I think a lot of people, once they see this movie, are going to be looking forward to it, too. So
yeah. I am.
But thanks again. And guys, we're not done. We're going to be actually talking about our thoughts on the movie right now. And we're going to go ahead and let Brittany kick off some of it since she wasn't a part of the interview.
I know.
I'm sorry, Brittany.
I don't get to do anything fun.
You got to come over during the day. I know. Just quit your job, dude. Let's do this.
I tried.
We gotta go in balls deep all this show. All right,
going balls deep. It's the only way to go. Anyway. So, Lowlife, which was released in 2017, but didn't get to us until 2018, was directed by Ryan Prows.
Oh, no shit.
What?
I heard that guy's pretty cool.
Me too. He talked a lot about some other stuff that he's done, so you guys are pretty well versed in the arts of Ryan at this point. There are several writers attached to this film. Again, I'm sure you guys are...
We didn't go over all their names.
Okay, so... There was Tim Cairo, Jake Gibson, Shay Ogbonna, Ryan Prows, again, and Maxwell Michael Towson. This movie stars Nikki Michaud, who plays Crystal, who is mostly a TV actress. So I know her from 6 Feet Under.
She was in that?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
She was in several episodes. She was also in The Shield, and most recently, for probably the longest period of time, was Lincoln Heights.
Okay. She was also in that Jerry Springer movie called Ringmaster.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't even know they made a Jerry Springer movie.
Yeah, they did.
I'm
It was
so
like,
sad I missed that.
his shit was like huge back in the day.
It still is.
Yeah. Well, he's still going. I don't even watch regular TV anymore.
I think
to be
he's
honest.
still going.
She also
But it's not the same since Steve retired.
Oh yeah.
Steve.
She's also got a new movie coming out called Lazarus.
Yes.
I'm kind of curious
It's
about.
in post-production, I think, right now.
Might be, yeah. It also stars Mark Burnham, who plays Teddy Bear Haynes. He was in the movie Wrong and also Wrong Cops by Quentin Dupieux. He was also in the movie Reality, Hidden in the Woods, and a new movie coming up called Altered Perception.
Yes. Right. Sorry. I don't know. I was agreeing with you, I guess, on that. Yes, you're right. I'm telling you.
You're off today.
You fucking poisoned me. I am poisoned. This also stars John Oswald, who played Randy, a.k.a. Swastika Face, who was in, again, mostly TV stuff. This was, I think, his first feature film.
Yep. Debut. Yep.
He was in a series called Boomerang Kids, another series called Mata Hari, and he was also in one of Ryan's shorts called A Totally Twisted Christmas, a Tom Fondle Christmas special.
He did the music in that, too.
Did he do music
I'm pretty
too?
sure he
That's
did,
fantastic.
Yeah, he did. Well, he might have been a part of it. He was like the music director,
He is a
I
jack
think.
of all trades.
Yeah.
I am interested.
It also stars Shay Agbana, who plays Keith, who is John Oswald's or Randy's friend in the movie. He's he's one of the writers who actually stars in this film as well, and he's also starred, directed, and written his own movie called Bizarre Bracket Behavior. Which I've not seen, but I'm kind of curious about. Plus a few other TV shows and shorts and things like that mixed in there too.
We also have Ricardo Adam Zarat, who plays El Monstruo himself.
Yes.
Who is also... I'm actually really surprised, by the way, that his credits are so little.
I know, right? Like, all of these people are really good.
They are, but he seems so seasoned to me, so I was like, he's going to have a fucking shit ton of IMDb credit. No, he's got like 6.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, I mean, this definitely might
this
help.
was, what, one of 2? Like, actual
Dude, he was
feature
so good in this
He
role.
was amazing.
Yeah.
He's like easily...
All of them really were. Honestly.
I love John Oswald as Randy because he was
Right.
he's a lovable, like, funny fucking dweeb.
Right.
Like, he's great. But El Monstruo, like, how can you not love him? Like,
I mean,
even though he's kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah, and how many people can you... I mean, like, that's... Well, I don't want to get into what our thoughts are because...
We'll get there.
Yeah.
So some of the other movies he's done is The Disillusion of Pretty Butterflies, which I just like the name of that, so I want to watch it.
Right.
Deadly Sins and Callahan,
Okay.
which I'm probably saying that wrong as fuck.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't
yeah,
know.
I had a hell of a time.
I try to not sound like a piece of shit and putting like a Hispanic like accent on stuff.
Yeah, well,
Callahan.
like I kept trying to say Ryan's first short film, which was Narcocorrido.
Yeah.
And I kept saying it like I was. I don't want to
didn't even
say
put that one
like
down.
another accent that doesn't make any goddamn sense. We'll just say that.
White people problems.
Yeah. Also, we got Santana Dempsey, who plays Kaylee. She was in an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. She also plays Felice in Scandal, the TV show. And she's also in an upcoming film called Craze the Fast Life. So, but,
Yeah.
Brittany,
What?
let's hear your thoughts on this movie.
All right.
Could you tell us your thoughts, Brittany?
No.
Okay.
The minute I watched the trailer of this movie, I was already intrigued as fuck. Like, I figured I was going to
Right.
like it, but I tried to... Anytime I feel like I'm really going to like something, I try to still go into it with zero expectations, because what ends up happening if I'm really stoked for a movie is that I end up not liking it.
Okay.
Like what happened with Tragedy Girls. Like, I mean, I like Tragedy Girls, but, like, I wasn't as impressed overall.
Okay.
And I was so stoked about the trailer. So the trailer for this movie is fantastic. If you guys haven't seen it, you need to watch it now and then proceed to immediately watch the movie.
No, fuck that. Skip it and just watch the movie.
Yeah, I agree. But if you want to know what you're going to get yourself into for the next 90 minutes, watch the trailer. You will not be disappointed. Trust and believe. Don't fuck around. Anyway, it is literally nonstop thrill ride start to finish. I had a really good time with this movie. It was savagely hilarious.
Right.
And downright savage.
Yeah.
In general. Like, the gore and the violence is on point, but it's not overly violent is what I loved about it. Is there was
it's
a lot
overly
of...
perfectly violent.
It's right where it needs to be. Like,
Right.
they hit the sweet spot.
Yeah.
And they didn't go over the top with anything, and just to make it... Because I feel like when you focus so much on blood and gore and violence that it distracts you from the point of the story.
Uh-huh.
And it completely takes it away. And I feel like a lot of people use that to mask when they don't have an actual plot.
Right. Okay.
So they just throw in a bunch of fucking violence and shit, and they're just like, whatever, everyone's gonna like it. Because it's like, horror movies are super guilty of doing that.
Right.
And that is like the bane of my existence. I hate that. Like, it pisses me the fuck off. Like, but this one, they somehow managed to find this really good balance between comedy and just downright depravity.
Yeah.
And you end up getting to this point that everybody is a fucking piece of shit. Like, we're all assholes. Like, every single one of us, like, to our core, like, we try to be good people, but we still do shitty things to others.
Right.
Whether it's intentional or not.
Right, yeah.
So it's really a great way to follow like 3 different groups of people over this timeline, and they tell their stories in different ways, but they all come together in the end. And is it an original concept for a story? Not so much, but
I think so.
They did it brilliantly.
Yeah, it's different.
So to me, there's a lot of like give and take. It reminded me a lot of Pulp Fiction, like Reservoir Dogs, like that kind of
raw kind of
like film
entertainment value.
Yeah, raw entertainment, and the film style too,
Right.
and how they go back and forth in the choppy bits of the story. Like, you kind of come in this part, and then you go back, and then you come from this view. It's all these different viewpoints of all these different characters. So and it was cool. It made it more interesting, I feel like, if they would have followed just a straight story.
Okay.
I really don't see how they could have done this with just a straight story. They have to break it up in the sections that they did. And I like how they titled the sections, because I felt like it was appropriate to the characters.
Yeah, okay.
So, and it hits you a couple times, like, where it hurts.
In the feels.
You know, you get a good case of the feels with this movie. So, and I love that. I like films that still have substance, even though they tell a fucking batshit crazy story. So that was one thing that I really appreciated about this film, is I was completely invested from the minute it started and until the minute it ended.
Okay.
So
nice.
I really liked it. Like, overall, like, great fucking job, dude.
Yeah, everyone,
like,
really.
Everybody was great. And like we were talking about earlier, like the guy who played El Monstruo, like, I thought he was a seasoned ass actor that's been doing this for 100 years.
Right,
like,
that you just didn't know because he had a mask on.
Yeah, he was so good. Everybody was incredible.
Right.
You know, they did a really great job.
Well,
I was extremely impressed.
Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad you liked it. I felt like it was kind of like along your...
Oh, it's right up my alley.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because, like, you get off on those, like, quirky, kind of, like, irregular movies.
Yes, like Grand Budapest Hotel.
Right. Like,
one of my favorite movies.
They kind of, and this movie really does throw you for a loop, but,
yes.
I mean, you guys already know that I'm a huge fucking fan of this movie. You know, I'm sure most of you guys know that.
Yeah.
And especially since...
We all know, Alex.
I know. I've been repeating it to you guys to watch it so many times online and in person. You probably even heard it in the interview with Ryan.
He went nuts on me.
I know.
The minute after he watched this movie.
Right.
You blew up my fucking phone for like an hour about how fucking excited you were. You gotta watch it right now. Like, right the fuck. And I'm like, I'm not going to, because you're gonna make me watch it, because I know we're gonna end up doing this movie. Like, I'm gonna hold on because I'm gonna wait until.
Turn around.
Yeah, I'm like, God damn. Like, it was hilarious though. Like, it was super cute.
I mean, I even told Ryan, I was like, yeah, immediately after I got done watching it, after me pacing around the house for a little bit, like, I seriously was. I was like,
Running
oh my
back
God. And
forth
Christina
inside.
was like doing the same thing.
I do that too.
And I was just like, oh wow, this really has something, you know, like, it really, you know, you get that body buzz when you watch a movie and you're just like, wow, that's so good.
I like when I get the goose pimples from a movie, and I got goose pimples.
But after, you know I'm going to be telling you, and if that's not enough convincing for you to actually watch it, then here's my little piece that I put together about it. Now, the movie is super dark, super funny, much like real life can be.
Yes.
in a lot of ways. Sad but funny in a way. You kind of have to laugh because shit sucks everywhere.
Yes.
But it spits in the face of the typical tropes in movies to be its own sort of thing. And you don't need to be a famous person to be a hero either. You know, you don't need to be a typically bad guy to be a bad guy or a villain in a movie either, like in real life. So the movie, to me, blurs that line of what the so-called tropes tell us they are, which is pretty amazing to me. Like, I like that. Because in real life, it's not as cut and dry as that. You know, the lines cross. It's a kind of like a crime spree akin, like she said, to Tarantino films. A lot of people are comparing it to Pulp Fiction. In fact, the individual stories all intersect like that. One over the other and into each other. That's essentially a anthology, as Ryan had mentioned.
Right.
That interweaves into each other. The characters, the acting in this film are equally balanced and great to me. Like, I really think everybody did the best they could do. The comedic beats are strong. They even dip into the darker side of hilarity as it unabashedly points its finger at the labels that we, especially people online, and I mentioned this to Ryan, like to categorize people. So we always like to fit people in a box. And I think this movie does an amazing job because it's relevant in that sense that we're all just fucking lowlifes. You know what I mean? And it's not afraid about saying that. And I really appreciate that. And I think that it's like it slams you into each and every one of those fun moments with that idea in check and like letting you know. And it's covered in copious amounts of gore too.
God,
like I was
so
actually
good.
Because like the funny thing is I was saying to him, I was like, you know, God, man, like I didn't realize this was going to be as dark as it was. Like I had some tonal issues in the beginning because I was like, fuck, like this is some serious shit here.
Yeah, in the first like 10 minutes. Yeah, that shit threw me through a loop.
Right?
I was like, what the fuck? Like, and I don't ever do that.
Yeah. And you know, I would say that the reason this movie is good is because of the writing, but to be honest, the movie fires unifyingly together on all movie making cylinders. So it's not just the acting, the direction, the story, the writing, the visuals, everything kind of works together to make this perfect low-life storm. And if you haven't seen this film, guys, seriously, it's something that you really need to watch. And I'm just gonna keep telling you till you fucking watch it.
I'm gonna make a prediction.
What?
This is definitely going to be in both mine and your
Yes.
top 5 2018.
I already
films
know,
at the end
man.
of the year. Like easily.
There's a few movies, and I mean, this isn't necessarily horror, so to speak, but it's going in the top.
Oh yeah, and
I don't give a fuck.
That's something that I was gonna touch on because the second after we finished it, Mouse was like, I mean, that's not a horror movie like at all.
Right,
He's like,
but it has
that
elements
was
of it.
But it does, and why it does is because there are moments that are very tense.
Yeah.
And that you are like a horror movie. You
Yeah,
know, like
sure.
where you feel uncomfortable and you're like, and they do a great job with the music.
Yeah.
By the way, like they play every fucking
It's done by
song
Krang.
and shit that they have in there is spot fucking on for what they're telling in that moment, and it really works.
Yeah.
So I was very appreciative of that, and so the tone that they carry with the music throughout the entire film is just perfect. That helps to lean it a little bit towards the more towards the horror genre, is the fact that it does create a tenseness, and there are moments that'll make you jump and freak you out that you didn't expect to happen. Not necessarily in a typical horror way, but just in a suspenseful way. It is suspenseful.
Sure.
But the
well,
gore
it's got a little bit of everything,
is
doesn't it?
on fucking par.
Yeah.
And a lot of action fucking movies are not going to go to that level to touch that kind of gore.
Yeah.
Because that is strictly horror based. So, I mean, that is, I want him to fucking do something horror because he's going to nail it.
Yeah.
And he needs to bring back all the fucking makeup people that worked on this movie because they are amazing.
Yeah, I'm definitely...
Every one of them.
And in the interview, as I told you a little bit about, you know, he is trying to work on one. But
do it.
Yeah.
Please.
Well, I hope that it comes out because I think this is like the perfect time.
Yes.
I think they need to ride the wave a little bit and get it out there, you know.
Fucking do it, dude.
But, you know...
You're going to nail it.
Some people have their opinions about whether or not something's going to be good or not, and we haven't seen it yet, so maybe they're, you know, who knows?
You know, we all come back and we're like, that was terrible, Ryan.
No.
Why did you do that? I'm just kidding. I'm sure it's not going to be, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
like,
no.
I don't know. My lady boner was so hard for the fucking gore in this movie. Like I can't even.
Well, I
get to
just
that.
everything, man. Like it's just everything about the movie I really liked.
It was great.
It's not your big blockbuster budget fucking movie, but
it doesn't need to be.
No, but it is everything that you would find in a cult cinema film.
Yeah.
Doing things that are like the mainstream, but better than the mainstream in a lot of ways.
Exactly.
Because it mirrors real life and some of the people in it. Yeah, they're caricatures of people in real life, but I just like how unifying it is. Like, it really is. Like, it shows that we're all pieces of shit, like you said.
Absolutely.
So, and I really like that. I mean, I know that he had said that it wasn't necessarily their ultimate goal, but in a way, I guess that's just a piece of everyone that was a part of this, and that's how they felt about it. And I don't know, like, you know, life is shit, people are shit, and we try to make the best of it and do what we can. Yeah.
We do what we can with shit.
Right.
Make a turd sandwich into a birthday cake.
Or a movie.
We do whatever the fuck we can.
Well, I just love that, yeah.
But like 9 times out of 10, I prefer movies like this over major blockbuster hits.
Right.
Because there's more fucking heart in a movie like this.
Right.
Than there is in I feel like the big blockbuster films, they're just, I don't know. They don't have anything special.
Well, no, sometimes
behind
they
them.
do.
Sometimes they do. There's a rare exception, like The Shape of Water, and
I haven't even seen it yet.
Other films like kind of along that wave, I guess. Like I almost said Pan's Labyrinth, but Pan's Labyrinth was more of an underground film when it came out. It wasn't a big feature film.
I think I would rather watch The Shape of Fish Dick.
The Shape of Fish Dick.
The porno parody. I would rather. No, I'm kidding. The Shape of Cod. Cock?
Shape of Cock.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Something.
Bad joke.
Cockfish. There it is. But I mean, that's just how I feel personally. Like I'm not a big. I also hate going to the movie theaters. So if I don't have to go to a fucking theater to see a film that I want to see, like you've sold me already.
Right.
Like I'm in. You know, if I can sit at home and watch it and pay $5 to rent it, like I'm down.
I like movies that make me feel something.
Exactly, and I don't get that a lot of the times.
Yeah.
Movies like me, I feel like I like people who aren't super well known actors and actresses, and I like seeing new talent and new people and undiscovered people. Essentially, he did have some big people in this movie that he landed. Which was really great.
No, but they're more of like the B list in a way,
right?
That have a lot of talent.
Oh yeah, and I mean every way.
Whoever picked these people knew what the fuck they were looking for.
Yeah, their casting person was spot on. Like did a great job because everybody is perfect.
I'm sure it was just every one of them. He said a lot of those people were his friends. You know, that worked on the movie.
He's worked with John before.
John Oswald.
One of the first movies he ever did was with him.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it was the first short he did.
Yeah, maybe. They all went to school together, so you got a good vibe of what their abilities were and what their ranges. And everybody, like when you're starting out and you're doing like movies and stuff, you just want to make shit. So you just do whatever the fuck you can. And then, we were talking about, when you go to school, the biggest thing that you're going to pull out of there is not just the knowledge, but more so the people that you meet.
Right.
Because you know the eye for talent when you see it, and you know who's going to be passionate.
Like-minded individuals.
Right, yeah.
So that everything worked with this movie. So, I mean...
I don't want to pick favorite characters either, but...
No, I have one. I have one.
Everybody has their moment, though.
Well, I mean, I have two. But I have one that I loved more in a way. And I feel like because he was the surprise... white horse in the end,
right?
Because he comes in like a piece of shit dark horse from like right away, and you're just like, what the fuck is this guy? Why is this happening? But it's really funny. His whole story is really cute, and then there's this moment between him and Kaylee, which is great. But,
there's so much.
Oh my god, it's so fucking funny.
It's in the trailer.
It is in the trailer, and I still. It was just as good the second I saw
fucking Nazi?
it. Yeah.
Not cool, man.
Not cool, man. You don't know my struggle.
He's like, not cool, call me a Nazi. Yeah. Not cool, man. You don't know my struggle.
You don't know my struggle. And it's like, I love the fact that, like, when he speaks Spanish.
Oh, he's like really good at it.
He's like really good at it. But I saw that they had like voice people, and I'm like, it wasn't really him speaking.
Was it? Are you sure?
I don't know.
I think it was.
I feel like it might not have been. Like I thought it was like legit, but then I saw that they had like extra like voice people, and I was like, oh, maybe it wasn't him.
I don't think so.
I don't know. Either way, if it was actually him, like good on you. Because I was like, that white boy speaks really great Spanish. Like, that is impressive.
You speak to me as an equal.
It was so cute. Like, I don't know. I loved that. And I loved their dynamic together, I think, El Monstruo. And
he's better than I am, that's for sure.
Oh, God. And yeah, I am terrible.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, he was definitely a under the radar kind of like came to be this cool, but at the same time he's still kind of an asshole.
Right.
Everybody that's cool is still kind of a dick at the end, which is like
every character wavers on good and bad.
Absolutely.
It's like really each of the characters are both good and bad, equal parts.
There
all of
is
them, like every single one of them.
No character, no interaction with any person in this entire movie.
Wow, maybe the victims,
No.
like on some of the victims.
Maybe the cops at the end.
No, I mean some of the people that
the people in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I'm just saying some of the main characters, they all ride that line.
Yeah,
and,
they
and that's the
definitely do.
beauty of it, because I don't know. It's like I think if we all just realized that we're all good and bad, we would be a lot better than just trying to put each other into, oh, these are good people, these are bad people. Because if you really dug deep enough, you'd find a layer of shit in there that made us a good person, and vice versa.
And the biggest takeaway that I feel like I got from this like theme overall is that, and it's completely true, is that every single person is going to do what will benefit them the best.
Right. They're out for
Overall,
themselves, yeah.
In the end.
Yeah.
Everybody is selfish.
Yeah, but they also become unselfish by the end in a way, too. So, I mean...
In a way.
I don't want to ruin...
Some do.
We're saying too much. You guys just need to watch the fucking movie.
Some do, but some don't.
Fair enough. Well, I think we've probably talked it to
choice.
death now at this point.
It's beating a dead horse.
I really, really enjoy the film, and guys, don't be surprised if this is in my top 5 for the end of the year.
I'm legit sad we're not discussing favorite scenes and stuff, because this movie was awesome.
Like literally,
I have so many.
Like the only other movie that I can like even try to compare it to, and I think this does it just a bit better, is Mom and Dad, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
I don't think Mom and Dad has as much heart as this movie does in a lot of ways. Like, it's just a lot of fun, and it made me laugh really hard.
Yeah.
But I think this one so far is one of my... I told him, I was like, I got 3 movies this year that I really enjoyed, and one of them's probably a horror movie, and the other 2 aren't. But... you gotta write these down as we see them, because
I know
we gotta like build that shit.
We need a big bulletin board like last year.
Yeah.
That was helpful.
It does help.
Yeah, I mean, because we're gonna lose track.
Well, there's
a lot
so
of cool
many
shit coming out this year.
Yeah,
especially that one that you showed me the trailer for.
Guys, what did you think? Have you seen this movie? Are you going to watch this movie? Are you going to heed our fandom and listen and just go watch it?
Fucking do it.
I rented it. It's on like all of your digital platforms. There are a few theaters. I'm not sure if they're still running the movie.
It's at
but
Film Bar, or it came to Film
on
Bar.
the 20th.
It's going to be at Film Bar. Yeah.
I think it was on the 20th or something.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
was just
remember.
at Film Bar. Recently.
Yeah. So if you get a chance and you can see it in the theater, go there. You can also rent it on digital platforms, any of the distribution channels
that
you would find, like iTunes, fucking Microsoft, and like Sony and all that other shit.
I rented it on Amazon Prime for $5. So, or just on Amazon for $5. Like, it's completely fucking worth it. Do they have a DVD? Like,
it's coming out in the summer. Brittany didn't get to hear the interview yet because we're doing this pretty close to one another. Yeah, you guys, it's coming out in the summer on Blu-ray. Highly recommend renting it and then buying it.
Are they going to do just a DVD? Because I don't do Blu-ray.
He said it was going to be at Scream Factory or Shout Factory. One of the two. I think this could go into the Scream Factory because I've seen other side stories, or as long as it's gory, they are pretty cool about it.
Just give me a DVD. I don't want a Blu-ray.
Right.
I don't Blu-ray, so that's why I don't. So I want a DVD.
Also, guys, remember, we are doing a giveaway for a $20 or $25 gift card. Whatever we can get online, it'll be one of the two. But basically, all you have to do is sign up to our VIP club. I think we need between 3 and 5 more people to sign up. So any of you who are listening now, if you sign up for our thing, we'll do a giveaway for a $20 or $25 digital gift card to Amazon that you can spend on a movie or whatever the hell you want. Get yourself a dildo, whatever you want.
Do it!
It's on us.
It's on us.
Just slap a BTV sticker on there and you're good to go.
If you buy a dildo, you better tell us. Me specifically, because I want to know. I want a picture of it with you with thumbs up next to it.
But guys, free money. Do you want it? Sign up. That's all you got to do. And don't be slick, because if you add us to your spam folder, you automatically get removed, so you're not going to win it.
Yep.
For those of you who listen and support every week, thank you guys. We really appreciate it. For those of you who are looking for a way to do it, share this with your friends. We appreciate you all, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming by, and as always,
stay weird, monsters.
Listening to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. Tune in every Monday for a brand new episode.